Hey, stat students, we're going to go over how to graph a residual plot using our calculator. So follow along and see how we do. So this is our day 25 worksheet, and I've posted the problem set, the last problem set from day 24 here to start. So if you want to look at the answers to that question from day 24, those are posted here on the side. So each question has the answer already there, so you could cut and paste that if you need to. But what were we looking at? Height and weight for this scenario, and we looked at all sorts of things like, the equation of the line of best fit, or and the interpretation of those things, the scatter plot, and we actually calculated a residual as well. Now we're going to take that same data and calculate the residual plot, different than the scatter plot, right? It's the graph of all the residuals. So what do we do to do that? We still need the data, the same set of data that we were working with. So this is the group of points for height and weight. So first thing you're going to do is copy and paste that. So we need to highlight it and then copy that group of numbers. Click on the link for the Desmos calculator. It takes us here. Okay, go to that second box under the equation of the line, and then hit Control V to paste. Control V, and notice again here our x1, y1 for the table needs to line up with the equation. So I'm going to change that from y2 to y1 so that that's the same number as the table, and change the x2 to x1. So now we have the information we need. Because to get the residual, if we remember, what is the equation of a residual? Residual equals actual minus predicted, right? Remember that? AP. Our actual is the y value. So we actually use this y1 as what we would say our actual is, and the predicted is the line of best fit, which is this equation here. All right, so we would use a hat if we were writing this by hand, if we didn't have if we were having issues with the symbol. So I need to get this information to my table. And in order to do that, I want to note what the equation of the line of best fit is, this y hat. So I'm actually going to write that out. And you should write that out on a piece of paper somewhere so you have that and you don't lose it. But I'm going to write it here. So to get y hat, what is that equation? Well, it's b plus mx. And we have those numbers here, right? All right. So I'm going to say y hat equals, you could do the squiggly line, right? To say y is approximately negative 25.8, which is the y-intercept, plus 2.8 times x. Okay, so you want to have that equation somewhere so that you know what your y hat is, the predicted. Now I can go to the table and fill in the information to make the points for the residual plot. So to do that, I'm going to go next to y1, all right, and click on the third column here. We're going to make a third column. And I'm going to type in the formula for the residual in this setting, right? So that's y1 minus y hat. So I'm going to start by putting in y1, right? Why I have you write out the equation of the line, because if I type some of this stuff in, I might lose some data, right? So I don't have that anymore. So I want to make sure that I can see this. All right. So it's the first thing, y1 minus, now it pops back, but we're going to now subtract the equation of the best fit line. So we're going to subtract negative 25.8 plus 2.8 x. But in this case, it's x1, right? That's what the x is that we're dealing with. So I want to have that as well. And there you notice those green points there are actually the points of my residuals. They line up. You want your residuals, so like this first point at 36, the residual is almost 0, right? So that's why it's on the x-axis now, that green one, because the blue point is on almost pretty much on the line of best fit. The next point at 38 here, right? That one is a little bit above the line of best fit, so its residual is positive. In fact, it's positive 14.4. And then so on and so forth. So that's what we're showing here with the green points. Now I actually just want to show that. That's if I'm going to show a good residual plot, I just want to show the residuals, not anything else. So let's get rid of everything else. First, I'm going to clean up this a little bit. All right, don't need any of the notes here anymore. And just like I erased these equations, I need to erase the line of best fit and the scatter plot points. So how do I do that? Well, if you notice, the points are blue. There's a blue circle next to Y1. So I'm going to go over and click on that, and there goes the points. The line of best fit is black, and there is a black circle with a squiggly line next to the equation of the line. So I'm going to go click on that, and there goes the line. And so now all I'm left with are the residuals. I'm going to zoom in a little bit. Zoom in just a little bit. That plus sign. Okay, it's up there. And all I've got now are the points that are the residuals, and I want to show all of them, right? We started at 36. So you may not want to use that zoom in button. You may just want to keep it at that. But I'm clicking on the graph and I'm moving it around with my cursor. Now, all graphs have to have labels. So we still have to go to this wrench and plug in the labels for the x-axis and the y-axis. X-axis is going to be the same context. If we go back to the worksheet, what's the context for x? You can look at it up here, it's height. Okay, the problem should tell you which one's your x and which one's your y. You should get that information and know what that is. Okay, so let's plug that in. X-axis is height. And it pops up there. Okay, I can hit the space bar to move it over so it's closer to the points. You can see it, it's right there. All right, the y-axis is not the y value anymore because that would be y1, that would be the scatter plot. This is a residual plot, so the y-axis is always going to be labeled residual. You would want to move that, so hit space until that goes all the way to the x-axis here. If you don't go all the way down, that's fine, but somewhere close, right? So now we can see what these values are. And the last thing that we want to do is cut and paste this. So take a screenshot of your graph and then paste that into the problem. For me, with a regular Windows laptop, I'm hitting the Window button, Shift, and S. And I'm highlighting the part of the graph that I care about, which is this part, where all the points are. I've got the X and Y axis labels. So now it disappears, but I've copied it. And so the next thing I want to do is go to the actual box where I put the answer, which is this. We're on number 12. And I hit Control V to paste. And that's the graph.